Fergie from Liverpool Beat. We're just about to go into Fort Perch Rock, where they're celebrating 50 years of Merseybeat. Fort Perch Rock, for those of you who are not from Liverpool, is an old army fort right at the mouth of the Mersey. So we're actually on the other side of the river to Liverpool. Hanover and see all the docks and everything on the river, which once upon a time used to be full of ships. And we're here to celebrate, in particular, 50 years of the Operation Big Beat, which was at the Tower Ballroom. Mr. Sam Leach was the promoter, and he's here today, so with a bit of luck we might get a few words with him later on. So off we go to the Merseybeat Story.
Wait and see. Just a wait and see. Well, that's all good. So doggone free, I wonder why. Because your mother said you got a big black eye. Well, someday you're gonna cry. Won't be come back to you. Wait and see. Just you wait and see. Wait and see. Just you wait and see. Wait and see, just you wait and see. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon. Thank you very much.
So there we are, the Merseybeat Story. And this is the showcase. And what's your name, sir? Bill Halliday. You're Bill Halliday. And Bill's selling the new calendar, which is on sale for £8. And we'll show bits of it on Liverpool Beat. But if you want to get it, you go on to the Merseybeat Story website, which I'll put a link at the end.
Anybody know what that song is about your shoes?
What's the idea behind the calendar?
Tony Booth, the guy who actually drew these, he's reproduced them, and each calendar, each month is represented by a show. That particular month.
Okay, but it's about those high heels.
Exactly.
Is it high heels?
January 2012.
Could be high heels.
That was a show actually at Hamilton Hall in January.
High heels.
Carlo, 14th of February.
So these are all original.
High heels.
They're all reproduced by the guy who actually did them.
Oh, I see, right, yeah.
But there's even the Kaiser calendar. Minimum Town Hall when the Beatles came back and made it big. And also the Tower Ballroom show, Little Richard was on. Nems, Liverpool Stadium, Hensel Jazz Club.
But that was the one that Eddie Cocker,
That's the one's killed.
yeah, just a few weeks behind there.
Joe Brown,
Joe Brown and
Big
brothers.
Street, Roy Liney. Oh yeah, cool
I've done a couple of times before, but I think there's a few people here today, the likes of Billy Hatton, whose bands are mentioned in this poem, and it goes like this. I go to Fort Perch Rock, so many artists to see, and dance away to a tribute band. It brings memories back to me. It took me back to my younger days, 40 years or so. The cavern was in a different place. That's where I used to go. A wonderful time in the city, the birth of the Merseybeat. I was proud of those winkle picker shoes, and my Beatles suit was so neat. The searchers suffered with needles and pins. Buddy Holly loved Peggy Sue. Jerry crossed the Mersey. Roy Orbison sang Blue Bayou. The cavern became a shrine, open day and night. The bands beat out that Mersey sound till early morning light. Farron said, "Do you love me?" while Eddie had the summertime blues, and a pretty girl called Sandy Shaw performed live on the stage without shoes. Those girls with hair like a beehive, dressed in plastic, black and white, when they jived away at the Grafton, for the boys a tempting sight. The blue jeans got the hippie shake. It was great balls of fire for Jerry Lee. And Elvis had his latest flame, a green-eyed girl called Marie. The foremost said, "Hello, little girl." Helen Shapiro walked back, and a Merseybeat message was, "Don't turn around, look for your heart, Cilla Black." Mardi Gras, Locarno, downbeat, a disease out of control, Hollyoak, Blair Hall, Jive Hive, an epidemic of rock and roll. Billy Fiore, a son of our city, that boy was as cool as ice. Now he's one of 1,000 stars, somewhere in paradise. Rory was someone special. That lad blew up a storm, and he sang his heart out through the night when the Merseybeat was born. I think it's really wonderful, fantastic, fab and gear that I can come to Fort Perch Rock all through the livelong year. Thank you.
The Merseybeat Story, which today is celebrating 50 years of the Tower. Is that right? Is it the Tower?
Since the Operation Big
Since the Operation Big Beat on the Tower. And of course this coming Thursday, Sam's doing it again at Serco in Liverpool on the Albert Dock. But now we've got two of the most important people in the modern Merseybeat. On the right we've got Tony O'Keefe from the Shakers. And on the left, some yank. What's his name again? Andy Sander, who's just actually produced the latest Shakers EP. Who was that? So tell us a little bit about the thinking behind these EPs. I haven't seen an EP since the 60s.
No, well, exactly. I mean, that's the thing. You know, I was just trying to bring a little bit of the 60s back. You know, and EPs were quite a regular thing then. So we did one, because we're based in the Cavern, we did one called Cavern Stomping, and like four of the classic Cavern.
You're the resident band at the Cavern,
yeah,
aren't you?
We are, yeah. And then we decided to do one sort of, because we do a lot of Hamburg stuff as well, dedicated to the Star Club Hamburg, so they catch the two main venues. And Andy here kindly put us in the studio in London where he works and produced the new EP, and in fact half a new album as well that we've already got on the bag.
And the EP's called?
Max Shaw.
Max Shaw, which is what Horst Fascher used to shout out when the boys were feeling a bit tired.
The German equivalent of "Give it some welly."
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah, this is the only Scouse American I've ever met, actually. He's doing really well.
Yeah, what's the abbreviation for Scouse American is scam.
There's no truth in the rumour when you go back you need a visa. No,
Possibly.
but you're over here doing a production course, aren't you?
Right. Making the jump from analog to digital. So I needed to figure out what sort of buttons to push and where, and what better place to do it than over here, where I can muck in with you lot for a little while. And
you were telling me that the studio you used for the Shakers was quite famous. Was it?
Yeah, it was used in the late 70s and still owned by Nick Mason. Pink Floyd used it to record pretty much all of the Animals album and an awful lot of Dark Side of the Moon. Not Dark Side of the Moon, excuse me, The Wall. Dark Side of the Moon was Abbey Road. But yeah, The Wall was recorded for the most part in a place in France, but also over in Britannia Row up in North London, and that's where the Shakers did amazing job. 10 songs in 2 days.
Great studio though, you know. And thanks to Andy as well.
And you've got 4 songs on this EP. What are the songs on the EP?
We've got Rock and Roll Music opening up, classic Chuck Berry. Then we've got Red Sails in the Sunset, followed by Bésame Mucho.
Oh wow!
And then finishing off with an old Elvis song, giving the Beatles treatment, and Sit Right Down and Cry Over You. Which is
yeah. Was that an Elvis song?
It is an Elvis song. His first album.
Was it really?
Yeah.
They do it slightly differently than the Elvis version.
The Merseybeats used to do it, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, Merseybeats did it as well. Yeah.
And I hate to admit this, but the Bumbleys did it as well.
No, the Shakers make this version
A very
their
bad
own.
version.
Well, we always try and put our own spin on it a little bit. They're very simple, but, you know.
So you made more than the 4 tracks, though, didn't you? You're going to do an album?
Well, we did, as Andy said, we got 10 songs down. So we used 4 of them for the EP, and the others are going towards an album. And we're going down again to finish off. Done some original stuff as well, so we're going down, get that recorded, and hopefully have an album out sometime next year.
You heard it first here, folks.
So the
Shakers
Shakers.
Originals.
So an LP, not an album.
An LP. Well,
And you've done some of your own material?
an LP's worth of tunes on an album is going to be on there.
So who's the songwriter?
Eddie does a lot of it, I do some of it, so it's sort of a mixture of both, really. You know.
And of the songs you heard, Andy, are there any particular ones that you think?
That's like asking who your favourite child is, isn't it? No, they're all really good.
They're all really good.
Just great.
So you reckon early next year?
Yeah. January is when they come down to do more tracking, and after that, it's all in the mixing and overdubs and things like that. But we're expecting them to be pretty much as productive this time as they were last time, which it gobsmacked me. I was expecting to do 2 songs a day. We had 2 days allotted, and they got 9 done the first day, and then 1 on the second day, and it was amazing. So it spurred us on extra creativity and decided to go ahead and do just more than the EP.
It's all cabin training, that's what comes in handy, doesn't it?
And you've still got Phil Mealy in the band, haven't
We
you?
have, yes. Yeah. He still plays with Pete.
Still plays with the
as well, yeah.
He's a great guitarist. I really like
He's
his
got the
stuff.
feel for the area, which is always a bonus, really.
And you've got your own website?
We're getting one built at the moment. We've got a Facebook page, Facebook Shakers Liverpool.
Shakers Liverpool, right?
But we are getting a proper website built at the moment.
So people can see the videos of the band? And
There's
everything,
plenty on YouTube of varying qualities, some dodgy ones and some good ones, They catch us on an off night or not.
There's the one I took at the Cavern was really good. But that's not the lineup at the moment, is it?
There's various lineups on YouTube, but I mean, there's lots of the present lineup.
We'll have to come down the Cavern and...
I've even been pressed to wear a white shirt and a skinny tie every so often.
And you've actually been on stage with him?
He's done a few gigs with us when
gigs?
Phil was in Memphis with
Yes.
Andy Stubbin.
Shakerette.
Well, thanks, guys, and the best of luck with the EP.
You're welcome, yeah.
Take it easy.
Yeah, thanks for the interest.
Thanks, Dave.
11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, rock, we're gonna rock. Round clock tonight, that rocks on, draw me up. Have some fun when the clock strikes 1. We're gonna rock, rock tonight. Rock, rock, rock till the broken light. Rock, gonna rock, round the clock tonight. When the clock strikes 2, 3 or 4. Clock slows down, we'll yell for more. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. Rock, rock, rock till the broken light. Rock, gonna rock round the clock tonight. Take it away, girl. Clock strikes 5, 6 and 7. We'll be rocking in 7. And we're gonna rock around the clock tonight. Rock, rock, rock till the broken light. Rock, gonna rock around the clock tonight. Take it away, Philip. You take 9, 10, 11, 2. Oh, which one and so will you? We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. Rock, rock, rock till the broken light. Rock, gonna rock around the clock tonight. Strikes 12, cool off then. Rocking round the clock. again. We're gonna rock around and rock tonight. Rock, rock, rock till the broad daylight. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight.
With Al Peters,
Just finished playing harmonica.
who plays the harmonica. I missed his harmonica bit. Can I just move back a little bit?
We're about to fall over now, aren't we?
I'm going to fall
Don't
over.
come back
Yeah,
again.
there we go. That's
Okay.
better. Yeah, there we go. Not too close. There you
Okay.
go. And and I heard your harmonica player. I thought it was absolutely fantastic, and I missed it. So I was interested to know a little bit about your background and where you came from and
Right.
who you played with.
Well, I was originally was playing a trumpet with the band in the 60s, the Almost Blues. We did the Cavern all night sessions, thanks to Bob Wooler. We used to do 1 o'clock and 6 o'clock in the mornings. We supported Stevie Wonder, and Wilson Pickett. I
Yeah.
can always remember Wilson Pickett, an interesting one this. And we were sitting in the band room after we did our spot, waiting for him to go on. And he came into the band room and he said to our sax player at the time, Tommy Husky, I've got this new number I'm bringing out. I need some horns on it. This is the riff. Da 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 da. So Tommy goes da 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 da. Then he points to me and says, right, trumpet. Da da da. So I go da 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 da. So both of you on stage now. We're doing Don't Fight It. So that was Wilson Pickett. Well, supported so many. We did about 10 dates to support mainly American rhythm and blues and soul.
So you're the real commitments. Are you?
yeah, you're right. People say that to me. And then, so right through from 1964 to 69, we also recorded our demo in Abbey Road. We had to move the Beatles equipment out the way. And Engelbert Humperdinck came up to us and said, listen, don't let this session overrun, I'm in after you. So, and we did 4 tracks, which unfortunately the singers, the original singer was called Leach, and the singer after that was Tommy Brown. All unfortunately things didn't go well with the contract recording them. After that I came back to Liverpool, and then I've went to music college for 3 years. In that time I worked with Adrian Henry and the part of the Liverpool scene after it was defunct.
So that was a band called the Liverpool Scene, yeah? And they used to do sort of poetry and...
Yeah, I did poetry work. I did the music for Adrian Henry's autobiography.
Yeah.
I became very involved with Adrian as a very close friend. And my eldest son, was working with Adrian at the time he was born. My eldest son is now called Adrian. And then during that time, we're into music college where I qualified with a diploma in classical music on trumpet, believe it or not. Or high trumpet concerto. Met friends in there called a guy called Albie Donnelly.
Oh, yeah.
And after I left music college, I joined Supercharged for a couple of years. And did the first album Between Music and Madness.
The Supercharged were huge in Liverpool in the 70s, weren't they?
Oh yeah, they were. We used to do the sports one on the Sunday and Monday night. Yeah, I have fond memories of that time with Supercharged. Again, playing trumpet. I had also started to pick up the harmonica. I was, travelling in vans and things, used to mess around on the harmonica.
Yeah.
I was heavily into blues. My first EP, I bought actually in Pontypridd in Wales, where I was originally from. And I was left and lived in Liverpool since then, since I was 3. But I had this EP called Chuck Berry Rhythm and Blues Combo, and on it was a track called Maybelline, 30 Days, and Wee Wee Hours. And it's the Wee Wee Hours that turned me on to the writing of Willie Dixon, hence moving on to the likes of Muddy Waters and all those guys.
Right.
But I was also heavily into Gene Vincent at the time when I was a young teddy boy in Huyton. Got into a lot of mischief, as you do. I'll tell you a few stories there, but it would take too long.
Right.
And then after my stint with Supercharge, then I took a break from the music business, only a couple of years. Then in the 80s, I got a studio together, and the studio was called SOS Studios, and we worked on what you call the second Merseybeat explosion with Warheat, Echo and the Bunnymen, all those guys, around that time. It's a Material, Flock of Seagulls, all used to use them in the studio.
during that time I was doing odd sessions, and got to working with Roger Eagle was another thing. Eric's club. I worked with Roger for just PA and all that. And I also worked on a magazine with him called The Last Trumpet.
Right.
Hence the Trumpet. And during that time, he was looking after a band called the Frantic Elevators, and I was recording them at Adams Club. That's in Liverpool, on Seal Street. And I was in the process of recording. I said to Roger, "See this poster you got on the wall?" Because he used to bring over people like Junior Walker and the All Stars, Brownie McGee, Sonny Terry, and Bo Diddley. And then what happened was, I said, "This poster on the wall, who's that? The Lawnmower." He said, "That's you and Mick." Now Mick Hucknall was a singer with the Frantic Elevators. He said, "That's you and Mick Hucknall. You've got 10 days to get it together." So I went, "Oh my God!" So it was like we used to do this band together. Various members used to come and play things, you know, tambourines and.
What was Mick like to work with? What was Mick like to work with?
Oh, excellent! You know, he's a nice guy. I can tell you a story about Mick. Not so long ago, or a few years ago, he had a bit of a set to on the radio station. I don't know which one it was, and he said, people get the impression, being a Mancunian, that I don't like Liverpool. I love it. He said that I always remember the time when I was on the committee of Larks in the Parks in Sefton Park, and we used to put the bands on there every August bank holiday weekend. It used to be a 3-day event, and he was so skint at the time. He came up to me and the rest of the committee, and Sue, who was looking at the case, he says, "Any chance of me making a big tray of flapjacks and selling them in the audience because I'm skint?" And anyway, that's what he did. I mean, he's really down to earth. He's a lovely guy.
So what are you up to now? What do you do now?
Well, what I do now is I had a band. After that, I had a band for 25 years called the Lawnmower that worked all over the country and Europe. And that name was given to by Roger Eagle from that time at the club. That finished about 5 years ago, and now what I'm doing is I also work as a deck with a band called the Reverb Brothers, playing trumpets and harmonica vocals. But I also do now solo, because I'm with our Peterson the Bluesman, and that's guitar, harmonica and harness. And material, blues bass material. I also do Beatles stuff that sounds more blues than Beatles.
You'll have to come and guest with the Crying Shames.
The Crying Shames, Richie.
That's my band.
Yeah, I remember you now. I remember you. Yeah. What's happened to Richie?
He's in Las Vegas, I think.
Is he?
Yeah. No, Nashville.
Las Vegas or Nashville?
I was in the Bumbleys.
I remember now, the Bumbleys, yeah.
And we got Charlie Gallagher on drums with Crying Shames. And then 3 newbies.
Yeah, and you also played the places we did as the Almost Blues, didn't you? Over here?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Did you ever play the Witch's Cauldron?
I did, yeah.
Yeah? And what was the other one over here? And later than that was obviously the Embassy. But, good days.
Well, listen, Al, that's great. I've got to cut it short because the battery's going.
Okay,
well, that's
I'll wear any battery out, don't worry.
So we'll put that on Liverpool Beat. Have you got a website?
Yeah, it's grooving.records.co.uk.
Oh, right.
The grooving, no G.
No G.
At the ink.
Grooving.
At the ink end.
Okay. That's great. Thanks very much, Al.
Okay.
Thank you.
Baby, I'll have you. Baby, you'll be true. Baby, I'll have you for me. It's funny, honey, you don't care. Never listen to my prayer. Baby, you will love me someday. You are the one that makes me cry, and you are the one that makes me sad. When someday you want me, I'll be there when I see you. Baby, I'll have you. Baby, you'll be true. Baby, I'll have you for me. said when someday you want me, I'll be there. Well, see, yeah, maybe, baby.